In today's video, I will be sharing with you common terms and abbreviations we use in the real estate industry. And although these are the terms that we may use frequently as real estate professionals, you might not be as familiar with these terms if you are outside of this industry. Okay, so here goes. First term is down payment. A down payment is a large initial payment that you make when you buy a property. So it's usually a percentage of the purchase price ranging from 20 to 30%. However, there is no limit or fixed amount to the down payment a buyer makes because it will really depend on the agreement between the buyer or the seller. So in some instances, buyers make a down payment of as much as 50% of the total contract price, so they will need to loan a lesser amount. Equity. This is sometimes used interchangeably with down payment, but it has a different meaning. It is the remaining amount of the total contract price of the property not covered by the bank's loanable amount. For example, if you are buying a property with a total contract price of 10 million, you can loan, let's say, 7 million from the bank. So your equity is 10 million minus 7 million, that's 3 million. So you will then need to make a down payment of 3 million to the seller upon closing. Ready for occupancy, or RFO. This refers to ready-made condominium or house and lot units that are just waiting for occupancy. It's already finished and all you need to do is move in after the deal has been finalized. Pre-selling units. Pre-selling units are sold on the market before they're even released to the general public. So the actual property does not exist yet or is still under construction. You are then presented with either a showroom or model units or brochures with layout plans. So it's also known as off-the-plan properties. When a new project is launched, it often takes years before it's completed and can be turned over to the buyers. This is why condominiums or houses undergo a pre-selling stage. Brokerage. Brokerage is the intermediary between you and the market, buying and selling investments on your instructions. In real estate transactions, brokers act as the link between the buyer and the seller, which can either be a developer, the seller, or a private individual to facilitate the meeting of the minds between these two parties. Authority to sell, or ATS. It is a written approval by an owner or seller for his or her property to be marketed and listed by a specific brokerage. It is a requirement by PRC to brokers before they can market a private listing. So it contains the property details, selling price, and scope of work of the broker. I have a full vlog explaining what an ATS is and why it's important. I'll put a card up here so you can check that out. Turnover. This is the last step after closing. So once the transaction between the buyer and the seller has been concluded, the seller now turns over or hands over the property to the buyer. For developer-owned listings, someone from the engineering department will usually accompany the buyer to do a punch list to check the house before the buyer officially accepts the property. So for private listings, the buyer also inspects the property to make sure everything is in order before officially accepting the keys from the seller. Bank takeout or loan takeout. This is the bank process of releasing the loan or payment of the property to the seller. This is a requirement for developers before they will turn over the unit to the owner. So the equity has to be fully paid and the bank loan has to be released before the developer turns over the property to the owner. Deed of absolute sale, or DOS for short. So a deed of absolute sale of land is a document stating that one party is transferring his land rights to another. So this means that all the seller's rights of the property have now been passed on to the buyer, and this buyer now has the full right to use the property they purchased. Contract to sell. A contract to sell, or CTS, refers to an agreement between a seller and the buyer. The contract shows that the seller promises to sell something to the buyer, and the buyer also promises to buy the property from the seller. So it is a promise of sale. However, the contract does not instantly transfer the right to the buyer even when the contract is signed. Reservation. A reservation agreement is frequently used in the sale of new homes when a buyer reserves the right to buy a property for a period of time, usually within 30 days. However, with private listings, this term can be adjusted up to 45 or even 60 days. The builder or the developer states that it will not sell the property to another buyer during the reservation period. Real estate developer. Real estate developers buy property or partner with landowners, then develop a plan for what to build or rebuild on that property. They then bring in investors and predict how much money the new homes or businesses will bring in. Developers then manage the construction and ultimately sell out the project. Examples of real estate developers in the Philippines are Ayala, Sibulan Masters, and Camellia, to name a few. Builder. Builders oversee, coordinate, and work on the construction, repair, and renovation of homes and other buildings. We have several clients who do buy and sell, so they buy a piece of land, build on it, and then sell it. So in Cagayan, we have a builder who has been doing it for more than 20 years. His designs are such a hit that they often get sold even before it's finished, and sometimes even before it goes to market. So this can be a very lucrative business as long as you understand what the market wants and know how to execute it properly. Bank financing, also known as housing loan or home loan. This refers to the amount of money you borrow from the bank or financial institution and is given for the specific reason of buying a piece of real estate. Deferred cash. So with the deferred cash payment term, this means that the total price of a real estate property will be divided equally in a given period of time, for example, 2 years. And the advantage of the deferred cash mode of payment is that it has no interest. But since the term is shorter, it's usually between 2 to 3 years, the monthly payments are also bigger. Floor area. This is a measure of the amount of usable space in a house or building. Sometimes developers include the car park or balcony in computing the floor area of their model units, but those actually shouldn't be included because it should only include walled-up livable space. Lot area. The total lot area of the property, which includes the yard and up to the boundaries or the property line. Lot plan. Property lines with dimensions give the viewer an understanding of the scope of the plot, including its size and shape. HOA, or Homeowners Association. Homeowners associations are designed to manage the common or shared property, protect the owner's property values, and provide service to the residents and develop a sense of community through social activities and amenities. So if you live inside a subdivision, you will usually have to pay HOA dues, which is an amount payable monthly, or you can also pay it annually. The dues are then used by the homeowners association to maintain the common spaces like the parks and playgrounds and other amenities of the subdivisions, the roads, pay for the guard salary, garbage collectors, and general maintenance of the subdivision. Mortgage, an agreement between you and a lender that gives the lender the right to take your property if you fail to repay the money you've borrowed plus interest. Mortgage loans are used to buy a home or to borrow money against the value of a home you already own. Liens and encumbrance. A lien is a legal right or interest of a creditor in the property of another, usually lasting until a debt or duty is satisfied. An encumbrance, on the other hand, is a claim or liability attached to the property. It includes any property right that is not an ownership interest. So a lien is a type of encumbrance. Clean title. A clean title means that it does not have any annotations of liens or encumbrances at the back of the title. So you can check this by requesting for a certified true copy from the Register of Deeds. You just need to get the title number and the owner and who the owner of the property is, and then pay for the fee for the certified true copy, and then you can use this to check the actual status of the title. Patio versus balcony. A balcony is an outdoor platform that extends from the exterior wall of a house or apartment, which is usually located on the second floor or higher than the second floor if the building is more than 2 stories high, and it is always attached to the building. Whereas a patio is typically on ground level and may not be attached to the building. Model unit. This is a representative apartment unit that is used as a sales tool or for demo purposes to show interested buyers or tenants how the actual unit will look like. Usually, developers build two types of model units. So, a dressed up unit, one with interior design, one that is beautifully furnished, and the actual turnover unit so you can actually see what your unit will look like upon turnover. And that's it for common real estate terms. If you have additional questions or if there are other terms that you are not familiar with, then do let me know in the comment section. And if you have additional questions, then my contact info is in the description box. Thank you for spending time with me today. I will see you in the next video.